Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday, Momentum Day. Wow. Well, it has been a big week already, guys. And I have to say, we're cruising into the finish line, but even though it's the finish line for the Jumpstart Sales Challenge, it's really the beginning. And I think it is for those who have reached out and have shared with me that they've been downloading some of the primers. There is a Jumpstart workbook. I'll make sure it's pinned to the top of each page. There's some really good exercises in there. And this week I didn't go through exercise by exercise and on purpose because I really wanted to keep your attention in the theme of the day and give you some very specific homework for those days. So that was mindful, but I do know that there are a lot of resources in there. And one of the things that I can guarantee you is that during the next 90-day sprint, that there's going to be stuff that comes up. There's going to be a whole lot of life that happens all around us, right? And you guys, momentum is all about getting in motion, staying in motion. And there's going to be days when it feels like there's massive progress and massive motion. And then there's going to be days when it feels like you feel almost stuck or sluggish. And here's the thing about momentum. You just take the next natural step that's right in front of you. And when you've reached the end of your clarity or energy for that day, you just stop. That's what you do. You stop. You just pause, right? Because it's okay. It's not about everything going perfect. I can guarantee you that stuff is going to rush at you from left field. There's going to be stuff in your family. There's going to be health challenges. There's going to be stuff that comes up that you can't even see. But what's important is how you react to it. It's not so much about that stuff outside of you. It's about this commitment and clarity that you have inside. So if you know that you know that you know that you know that what you're bringing to the marketplace is truly valuable, and you're very clear that you want to create a new impact in your business, you want to create that momentum, and you're determined to create that, then you have to own that wave. And even if stuff comes flying at you from left field, you have to know that you're equipped to handle it, and you just take it in stride, right? Take it in stride. Don't lose sight of the whole. What's the saying? You can lose the battle, but don't. It doesn't mean you've lost the war. Yeah, we can take a pause. We can regroup during the process, and that's one of the reasons that we break this sprint into 30-day legs, because it's really hard. Even if you're not keeping the fire burning for 365 24/7, even 90 days is a long time to stay focused. And so I highly encourage you to mark those sprint, those legs in your calendar, right? So look at your calendar right now. We're going to start on March 17th. We're going to mark out the very first 30-day leg is till April 17th. So mark down the very first leg. And on April 17th, that's a milestone day. So if you check out my book, Up Level, it talks about all of the cadence, right? All the mile markers along the way. But the milestone day is really important at the end of each leg, because you're going to take a moment on that milestone day. And this is really important for momentum, guys. It's not all about just the action, right? It's actually also about stopping along the journey, recognizing your accomplishments, and taking a moment to celebrate that. So on that milestone day, April 17th, which is the first one, I want you to look back over the first 30 days, and I want you to review the action steps that you've taken, starting right back here, right? This is the primer week. So you're getting ready for this sprint. You're naming your physical target. You're claiming your financial target, right? What are the sales you're going to create? We've talked about some very specific ways to make sure that your messaging is clear, your process is clear, that you're truly connecting with the people around you and looking for those opportunities, and that you're getting into their world. So you're really in touch with the value that you bring and how you might best solve their problem or challenge, right? This is about them. And we've looked at the ways to tackle both, the marketing bridge to more of the right conversations, and the 10 prospecting ponds, and then also conversion on those conversations and making sure that they really have the most impact. So there's a lot going on here this week. I gave you a lot of homework along the path, but some of the basic pieces, right? You got into motion. You're going to stay in motion 20 minutes, 30 minutes of exercise a day throughout the whole 90 days because it starts and ends with your energy. And then you're going to come back to those targets time and time again with clarity and certainty, knowing that in 30, 60, 90 days, you can create an incredible ripple effect in your business. At the end of the first 30 days, on that milestone day, you're going to take a minute to look at that whole progression for 30 days. And I like to put something in my calendar that's just about me, I guess. Like, because really this is your energy you need to sustain. So what is it that's going to make you feel, maybe recharge your batteries a little bit? For me, sometimes that's just a nice moment to pause and eat lunch mindfully, go out by the water and take a walk. And then sometimes I even just buy myself something small that's just a little token of appreciation for my effort, right? And it's just a very small way that I can show myself some love for the journey. And, this is not for the faint of heart. This whole create your own economy business, business ownership, entrepreneurship, crafting your own destiny. This is not for the faint of heart. So thinking that this is just a walk in the park, is obviously not realistic. And so we have to really be good to ourselves. We have to really give ourselves the things that we need. And that's where, that exercise and self-care comes from. But on these milestone days, it's an extra opportunity to fill that love bucket. And so what would make you feel special on that milestone day and make you feel celebrated and accomplished? And is there a moment that you can put on your calendar, schedule it, literally schedule it April 17th, May 17th, June 17th. And you're going to celebrate that milestone day at the end of each 30-day leg and take you all the way through the 90 days. You guys, there's a method to the madness. I was looking for the word. There's a method to the madness. So I would say, and this book was actually only created after years of practicing this and realizing that I was using this to manage my own energy in a very, thoughtful way, actually, but it was only through years of trial and error. And it's the stuff that worked for me. So it doesn't mean you can't add your own personality pieces to it. Absolutely do that, right? If that's on that milestone day, you need to do more than the Snoopy happy dance and have a great lunch. You need to, take a trip or take a day off, right? Or you need to, I don't know, set up something special, set up a carrot at the end of that, that you're going to reward yourself with to really make those sales goals stick. What's really important about the way you set those targets, and it talks a lot about that in the book, is you have to set targets that are really compelling and meaningful to you. And in many cases, that's why I urged you to go back to that financial target and think bigger. In many cases, you need to think outside the box, right? We talked about the Corvette story, the red Corvette story, and the month when my eyes were really opened to the power of specificity and the opportunities that you can create by thinking out of the box. But when you have a goal that is truly meaningful to you, right? In that circumstance, that was a financial target that I realized could really make a huge impact in my family's well-being, right? And at the time, as a single mom of 2 kids, that paying off that student loan, having more money in my bank account than I ever thought possible, to other people, they would look at that and be like, Teresa, that wasn't really a lot of money. Well, it was a lot of money to me, right? It was a lot of money to me. It was really meaningful to me, but it wasn't about the money. It was about the freedom that was attached, that I was going to be able to create with the money by getting out of debt and having the money that I needed to support my kids, right? And remember, only 6 months earlier, I wasn't really making it I wasn't really paying my bills consistently. And so that was a problem for me. So sales really unlocked a whole new world of possibility for me. And still to this day, I get fired up about this stuff because there is no limit, right? And momentum, what I see happen with momentum is that once people, of course, an object in motion tends to stay in motion, an object at rest stays at rest. If you're a couch to 5Ker, it's much harder to set a target of running that half marathon or that marathon. But if you're in motion running 2 or 3 miles a day and you think about running a 10K or running a half marathon, it's like, oh, well, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I just go farther. It's so important to get into motion. And for most people, they are on repeat and rinse in their business. They're just doing the same things over and over, hoping to get a different result. And that is not going to do it. That's not going to cut it, right? Yes, that consistent, persistent action is so important. But we as human beings, to really fire us up, we need variety. We need a challenge. We need something new to be, to break up the mojo, maybe get us out of our comfort zone. And these challenges, these sprints actually serve as that variety, that spice of life piece for me, right? And so that's what I was suggesting at the beginning of the week. This might not, maybe this sprint methodology. I know that I had one person that joined me in the very first of the umpStart challenge and then the sprint leading into it. And she said, well, you do the spring and the fall, but for me, Teresa, I really love summer. And I really get in the summer. And there's something about the heat of the day and the sun and the way the weather, kind of influences my mood. I just feel really fired up in the summer. And so she actually does one of her sprints in the summer each year. Well, great. I'm all for it, right? It's whatever works for you. The main thing is that you realize, one, it's your energy to manage, and nobody's coming to take responsibility for that. And nobody's coming to create those results in your business or in your life. And so you figuring out that is your energy to manage, and then actually manhandling the energy and figuring out, trying a different system on for size, right? It's just an experiment. Treat it with a sense of playfulness and curiosity. We talked about that in the mental game and mindset day, right? So if you haven't watched the replays, I really encourage you to go back to the beginning of the week, because we're building the energy up in the culmination towards the end of this week. Now, this weekend is super important because Monday kicks off the sprint. These next 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, are so important because I only have one piece of homework for you. Get your head in the game. Get your head in the game. What does that mean? That means go back and write down your targets if you haven't done it. Arrange your physical environment to be conducive. Set yourself up for success. If you're like, well, I think to get my 10 prospecting ponds and to cast a wider net, I'm going to need 3 new tools. And to get those 3 tools, I'm really going to need to sit down at my computer and, I need a CRM. I need to manage my contact list. Okay, great. So spend some time thinking about, what does that look like? How can you set yourself up for success for this sprint? What do you need to do to set yourself up for the physical target, right? Maybe you had a goal of, not just consistent exercise, but maybe there's something that you'd really like to accomplish. Maybe you want to release a few pounds, or maybe you want to, participate in an event coming up. Events work really well for me because they give me a pull towards them. And so they become a compelling reason that I got to get ready. Right. And so that works a little bit better for me than just, I'm going to go to the gym 30 minutes a day. But it works differently for everybody. Right. And so that's one of the reasons why I love training for half marathons or events, is that it gives me a target. It gives me some structure to what I'm doing. so that I can keep my head in the game because I have a very distinct end game in that. And so my physical target has an end game, right? I'm going to prepare for a sprint triathlon in the fall. And so I've got to get myself set up for success. I got to figure out what pool I'm swimming in until it gets warm enough to swim out here in the intercoastal. I've got to figure out, my bike situation. And then I got to map out a new running route because I live in a new neighborhood and I don't have my distances worked out. So I've got a lot of get my head in the game I need to do, right? To really wrap my head around what I'm going to do to start preparing, right? So this is a really important weekend leading into the sprint. And it's gonna find a life of its own as I get going, right? What typically happens is the first leg, you're kind of getting the wheels on the thing. You might get some of those tools in place. You figured out your prospecting ponds. You've put some events on the calendar. You're showing up to more networking. You've launched the ad campaign. You're starting. It's a little bit like a snowball rolling downhill. And then in the second leg, you get a little bit more momentum. And then all of a sudden stuff starts to show up that you didn't anticipate. Opportunities, people, conversations you didn't think. Maybe it's alliances or partnerships where people are sending business to you that you never saw coming, right? And then by the third leg in the sprint, this is happening more and more. So that snowball is rolling downhill. It's gathering steam, it's gathering momentum, and that's what creates so much excitement for me in my business, because I don't really know what that snowball rolling downhill is going to look like in June, right? May to June. So that keeps me fired up throughout the whole 90 days because I have a sense of curiosity and excitement about what's coming. And I don't really know what it's going to be, but I know without a shadow of a doubt that when I take responsibility for my energy, I've seen it year after year after year. It happens all the time. It doesn't just happen for me. It happens for the folks that I coach with. It happens for anyone who leans in to the methodology and personalizes it for them, right? The other reason it works is that 3 targets is very easy to focus on. And so for most people, I keep them visible. I put them somewhere I can see them, right? My physical target, my financial target, my other. And yes, sometimes I've reached the end of the sprint and I still have one of these that I haven't hit or 2 of them that I haven't hit. We talked about that. What do you do in that circumstance? I keep the wave going, right? It doesn't mean that was a bad target. It might mean that I just needed more time. I've had targets. Well, my first book that I published, it actually took 3 sprints to get all the way through that writing process and editing and get everything over to the publisher. And that took a little bit longer than I thought. So I'm historically, optimistically biased, I would say. And so I tend to think that things are going to happen faster than they sometimes do. I actually like that bias. And so, yes, a healthy dose of realism in there is great. But I recognize that things are probably going to take a little longer than I think they're going to. However, I'm always pleasantly surprised that, again, these like golden nuggets will pop up or things will happen faster than I think. It's all just about the energy. And so don't put parameters on it, or try and talk yourself out of the target. Even if it seems like a stretch goal, that's good. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. So go ahead and put down the target, right? And look at the legs. And sometimes what I need to do is it's so big, the sales target, I need to look at, okay, well, I'm going to chop it in thirds. So what do I need to do in the first leg? What do I need to do in the second leg? What do I need to do in the third leg? And then owning the energy within each 30-day cycle really helps me keep the focus and the intensity real. So there is a science to this momentum. It is not just an art. The art part is you adding your personality bits to it and saying, okay, what do I, how do I move this into my calendar? What are the personality pieces? What is going to make this stick and work for me? What am I going to do on my milestone day that really fires me up? What target really like compels me and gets me up in the morning and connects me to my why? Every single entrepreneur or business owner or founder that I talk to has a reason, a purpose behind what they do. And so often they get covered up by the stress of the revenue roller coaster. This sprint is designed to help you get off that revenue roller coaster, really create some serious impact in your business so that you can enjoy some more time, money freedom, enjoy some peace of mind, right? What if you weren't stressing? Sales drives the bus, guys. And thinking that, well, I'm just gonna hope, I'm just gonna wish. No, we're gonna dissect the sales process. We're gonna look at the messaging. We're going to look at the 10 prospecting cons. We're going to really create a sales plan and a marketing plan to create more of those conversations. And when you do those pieces, get into motion, stay in motion, amazing things start to happen. So I know that this has been a lot, and I want to give you time today, some extra time. We're going to wrap up early today because I feel like there's just been so much out there already with the replays. And I want to give you time to digest all of that and really do the homework. 8:20 this morning, and if you're on the West Coast, this is, of course, even earlier. Spend some time this morning really looking at each leg, each of the next 30 days, mark it on the calendar, and then work it backwards. Look at your targets. What do you need to make this work? And how can you get your head in the game this weekend? You guys, momentum is available to you right now, right here. And for those who want team supported services in this area, the Diamond Group, we can definitely help you with that. You can go to diamond-group.co and reach out, set up a short, strategy call with one of our growth specialists. We would love to find out what sales and marketing targets you have in your business and help you create momentum. In fact, our proprietary system in-house is called Momentum for that reason, because I really believe in the energy. And I know that people need a team, right? And so we position ourselves as a multidisciplinary power team down the hall, basically your marketing and sales support team down the hall. It can help you drive to these targets. But this Jumpstart Sales Challenge is about you. If getting a team around you of support is part of the plan, great. We're here to support you. There are a lot of other people out there that could support you in this as well. We would love to have a conversation with you at the Diamond Group. We're really here to help small businesses, service-based small businesses in the construction and home services space, in the professional services space, particularly financial, legal, architectural, engineering, and the healthcare and dental space. So those service-based industries, those niches are near and dear to our hearts. And, we're coming up on our 30th anniversary. And so, we've had to pivot and adapt and evolve. And I've had a lot of sales plans, a lot of marketing plans along the journey. And I have had to manage my own energy year after year, consistently, persistently working towards the goal. Right. And that's created the growth and the trajectory. So I am so excited to be your partner on the journey, and reach out to us, reach out to me. You can also email me via my assistant, April, at diamond-group.co, and she can help connect us. If there's a conversation, if there's support or brainstorming, I'm happy to help. I'm going to post the Jumpstart Challenge workbook. There's a 90-day sprint primer that's available as well. If you have any trouble with the downloads, let us know. We'll make sure that you get them. But we're excited to support you on the journey. And I can't wait to see what momentum brings in your path. There are resources lining up to support you in your journey. It just takes your clarity, your commitment, you getting your head in the game. So set yourself up for success. Ride the wave all the way through the 90 days, guys. I promise you'll be happy you did. Have a great day, guys. Happy Friday. Follow through Friday, by the way, which means that you're going to do all the homework and set yourself up for success. I'm so excited.